We crossed over troubled borders. God was by our side. It's you and I. Oh, let me go drive on if I can. I'm rubbing tricks to the ribbon. You need to be boy up the right. You move your hand, you are the moon. You let nothing come between us. We spent our lives to prove that. After all these times and all these years, you and I, mountains and valleys.
All right, listeners, welcome back. Once again, we are live on your screens. Matters of the Heart. Akuma Musem. And now, no pay, and I do Ahumadachi. Yabao Opunano, Wakuma Punanu Bio. Matters of the Heart. And you might chagway in the Aquabwa on one. And you might do my Akuma Musem. What is in your heart? What is in your heart? Matters of the heart. So we are in the heart clinic. I'm not a cardiac surgeon, but we are looking at the heart from a different angle. Aqua view, Oshafua, so Basua. No, I like it. I will acknowledge you. Say only me and streaming live. Then, and then discussion. I ever know who contribution. Don't hesitate to put it out there. Make kind my body near that. I appreciate you. Now, social program now I share because we are touching lives. Those with serious heart issue. The Lord and this particular platform is making a lot of changes in people's heart. So come along with us as we dive into issues that is disturbing, that is controlling our hearts. Matters of the heart. What is in your heart? Welcome back once again. It's your one and only brother and everything, David Chumesi Ankara, DTA for short. Once again, you are welcome to Matters of the Heart. Akwabu anyum na etwagu no akoma mu nsam e de na wo akoma mu eno ne ye beka ho asem ni ni je na wo ho odo tima anatan bonyunu hatred. Whatever is in the heart, we are looking at it. And is it good to keep that or is bad to throw it away? We are in a clinic for the heart. Matters of the heart. Once again, Matters of the Heart. You are welcome. You are welcome to Matters of the Heart. And then you share adieba kwa efa yakuma ho. Ikipi na asemno last week ni ehwe Unforgiveness. Na yebobo nsem bebre so efa amfem free amfanche ho. Na yehunu the consequences ewomo can say me brave. Na ema yehunu say it's not good to keep or to bear grudges or to keep things that our friends, our loved ones, or any other who came in contact with us has inflicted on us. It's not good to keep it. Na me perceive again in this angle. Sekoba se wa fan check. Now holding on to that what is the next action? Ebi obeye wadwin say also ubeye ni bi atua ne ka. You too, you will retaliate, you will revenge, you will do something we call tit for tat, measure for measure, boot for boot. If you do me, I do you. Is it worth it? So our topic for tonight, this afternoon, this evening, and this morning, wherever you are watching us, is that vengeance, is it worth it? You might have your reason for taking your revenge. You can count a numerous reasons for taking revenge. But the question is it worth it? That come along with me and set your heart. If you have some grudges against a brother or a sister, a loved one that you are planning to revenge, to retaliate to that person, pause, take a second thought, and let's listen to our heart one more time. Matters of the heart, coming all your way from the city that never sleeps and the busiest county in this world is the New York City. Right from the corner of Flexy Media in the city of the Bronx, the only county with a big B, Bronx. When you say Bronx, you know where we dwell. This is our yard. Matters of the heart. You're welcome back once again. Yeah, I could see my fellow ones are actually watching. Anthony Nimo, you are watching right away from Ghana. Nimo Zion. Marfo Angela, you two, you are watching. Thanks for watching. Kindly share and let other people also enjoy us. Matters of the heart. What do you have in your heart? Today, vengeance. Is it worth it? You and I is going to look into that. Is it good to take revenge or we should let it go? This is the matters of the heart now. The matters of the heart now. Matters of the heart now. Don't let your heart grow cold. Don't let your heart grow cold. We are looking at matters of the heart. First and foremost, we are talking about vengeance. Now, you can say vengeance, now. And it's like, what is the meaning of vengeance? Bronica said, you can vengeance. I look onto the Merriam-Webster dictionary for the meaning of vengeance. And it says that it's an action of inflicting hurt or harm on someone for an injury or wrong suffered at their hands. So he gave an example that some wives spurn their husbands in public for revenge. And there are a lot of synonyms for vengeance. You can look at retribution, retaliation, reprisal, requital, recriminating, tit for tat, measure for measure, getting even, redress, you seek redress. And the amazing thing about the definition for or a synonym for vengeance has it in it, that satisfaction. So we're gonna look into that, how vengeance means satisfaction in this particular context. Another one is payback or repayment. So your desire to inflict pain on your friend for him first and foremost making you feel bad or making you go through hardship. You are you do me, I do you formula. Is it worth it? And after all is said and done, are you really satisfied as the meaning comes with it? Matters of the heart. Vengeance. Is it worth it? Listeners, I still want to acknowledge our viewers who are actually walking around with us. I could see Undefeated Striker 1. Hey, Striker! Thumbs up to you. My brother Osetutu is watching all the way from London. And my one and only Mabel, you are watching. You do me, I do me. You do me, I do you. Oh, that is a slogan. You do me, I do you. Man no go verse. Yes. That's what we are looking at now. Matters of the heart. What is in your heart? This afternoon we are looking at vengeance. Are you revengeful? What are you thinking about? What are you planning? What do you have under your sleeves? For a brother, for a sister, for your wife. The painful aspect is that somebody might be living with you as a wife or as a husband, as a fiancé or whoever that person might be, so close to you and might have hurt you one way or the other. But you are unwilling to forgive the person, and your plan is also do the same thing to that person. So you say, "Me dey me fan free o, me dey am fan free o, ya me nko am ye obi. Oni da ho na ade ye me ntimi so me kata mani na me so ma ye obi." Vengeance. Is it worth it? There are so many scenarios whereby people seek redress as a form of justification. So they will also inflict the pain you inflicted on them for them to feel justified. So when you take vengeance, vengeance is self-justification. In other words, it means you are trying to make yourself feel better. For the person who did something bad to you, are also repaying the person back. And in so doing, you think you feel better. You'll be justified. But the question I am still asking you this evening, that is it worth it? Is it worth it for us to keep on harboring the plan of revenging ourselves, revenging against each other, because we plan not to forgive whatever your sweetheart, your husband, your wife has done against you? And what are the consequences of vengeance? What will end up if you keep on venging against your people, your own loved one? Let me put this across. Nobody can come out of nowhere and hurt you. It is those around you, those close to you, those you love, those who are so dear to your heart. They come a long way to hurt you. So if you are unable to forgive them and keep that particular bitterness in you, and you go ahead to take a revenge, can you imagine what is happening to you? Or what is happening to that once a time, a good relation, a good coordination, a good family? Because of that, a lot of families has collapsed because of vengeance. Because your father and my father were at loggerheads. They were fighting. So you were born into that particular hatred. So you grow to hate each other. You all know the story of Romeo and Juliet. It's as a result of vengeance, unforgiveness, and that led to these two lovebirds dying along with it. Beloved, what is in your heart. At the end of at the moment, what are you harboring in your heart? And to we are watching say, Uniano ebe dini nyonyo, the odia onubeye ni bino, uye ni biye, what happened? Maybe yours couldn't land you in death. It couldn't land you in prison. But one day I would call retaliating. Because I know of a situation obi or her not just mark my words. Not in being said or no one can say or to on the way tears you woo. And now all can confront to. And the way I provoke you obi ma uniano so hin ham ye went me amfani ne boni anche nanti me ignore no or hin ham or born no other fem. I feel massa in a one in a one in a. Why? Because washene bufu why na dia manaye ne ya. You don't know what your vengeance will end up. And you know, se even se okun odofu bi otwaniti ana we ni bibia dia wokoye ni bi no dia wahwere no no ebesa ba bio ana. Will you get it back? That's the question I'm asking. Say me obi I am a dear man, I am yeah, I've lost a job, I've lost a sweetheart, I've lost a son, I've lost something that is so dear to me. If I plan to retaliate and I do the same thing to that person, the dear thing that I lost, will I get it back? Or even if when I get even with that person, will I be happy? Let me give you a scenario in the Bible, in 1 Samuel chapter 24. This story is very popular. After David defeated Goliath, and then he was like held in high esteem in Israel, especially specifically Judah. And then the king Saul became so envious of him because David has been acclaimed the savior, has been mounted a lot of fans and accolades. Meanwhile, it came to a time the evil spirit tormented this king, and it was only David who could play an instrument. And when he plays that instrument, that evil spirit goes away. Upon the enapa David yema ohini nyinano ohini no antimi amfana ni anto. He planned to do a lot of evil things against him. He planted her daughter Micaiah to marry David in order to get opportunity to kill David. But in other words, it didn't go that way. Micaiah loved David and told David of his plans, her father's plan. He planted Jonathan, his son, to be a friend of David so that he can tell him the plans of David. But Jonathan loved David more than to be so faithful to his father and did not disclose anything David and him planned to his father. Rather, he disclosed the plans of his father about David to his friend David. David and Jonathan lived as brothers. So it went on and on. This particular scenario didn't take just a year. It didn't take 2 years. It took a long time because after David was anointed by the prophet Samuel, it took him almost 8 to 11 years before he was chanced to ascend the throne of Judah. So in this particular moment, there was a time that Saul planned to pursue David. And in his pursuit to kill David, on their way, they wanted to rest. And there was a cave that Saul and his 2,000 battalions went to rest. Unknowingly, that was the same cave David and his people was hiding. Lo and behold, when Paul and his people, the 2,000 people fell asleep. And David and his people, David counselors told him, David, the Lord has delivered your enemy into your hands. This is the opportunity. Finish him and you will run no more. But this answer David gave changed David's life, and that made him the man after God's heart. He said he would dare not touch the one the Lord God has anointed. Although the king was so mean and evil to David, but David didn't look at that pain and the struggle this king has made him go through. But he thought of what he would lose should he kill this man. He will lose the relationship with God. And that wouldn't make him a hero, because he killed the most threatening enemy, which was Goliath. So David didn't have to prove anything to the people of Israel again. He had already proven himself. What are we taking from here? What time for now all time, your enemy who is pursuing you, or the person who has hurt you that much, that bad, God can give you the opportunity to retaliate. But what do you do with that? David told his people that vengeance is of the Lord, and woe betides me that I will lay my hands on the man who has been anointed by God. God created us in our own image. Last week I made us recite the Lord's Prayer. And in that verse, there is a line that I wanted us to look at it very carefully. He said that, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. It means, if you do not forgive your brother, or your sister, or your wife, you too, you will not be forgiven by God. Would you listen to me? Whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, whatever faith you believe in, my word for you is that revenge is not good, because it doesn't make you justified, as it says. It doesn't make you feel better, as it is, but rather it tears you apart. Because after even repaying the person, you still have the pain in you. You still remember what you've lost. You still even think of the loved one you've lost. So what then is the benefit of the revenge that you took? But if you leave it and let go, and let God heal your heart, and let go of that pain, you live more happier life than ever. So David went to Saul and cut a piece of his cloth and showed it later to Saul and told him, "My Lord, my king, may the Lord be with you. You see, you've been pursuing me for years. Tonight, the Lord gave you to me, but I decided not to touch you. But what have I done to deserve that kind of enmity, that hatred from you? The Lord will judge between you and I." That was enough statement for Saul. And Saul was so broken down. You see, when David did not take revenge on that particular person, he broke Saul down to the extent that he pleaded with David that he shouldn't hurt any member of his family. He should swear to him that he will not hurt any member of his family. David kept to his promise. That is why when the last person in the house of Saul was inquired, then by the name Mephibosheth, David brought him to his table and dined with him. It shows that he kept the promise he made to King Saul. Are we able to let go of how severe pain people have inflicted on us? This is a perfect example in the Bible teaching us of how to let go, but not to take matters into our own hands. In the world and in the countries that we live in, even if someone offends you, if someone steals from you, you don't have to take instant justice. The law will go against you. So in this regard, what I want us to listen is that there was this brother who sings so well, a renowned musician. He has a track, and that track is so loaded with these messages that we are talking about. His name is Michael Owari Sechi Jr. And I want us to listen to this song played by Michael Owari Jr. Michael Sechi Owari Jr. So I entreat you to take time and listen to this particular track very well. And I bet you're going to enjoy it. What's all the assembly nature? And so, Revida. Oh, just me catch you say, "Akawa di sacha kakra." Forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. Revenge is a no-no. The world that we're living in now is suffering because of revenge. If you learn to let go, we live in a happy and a free world. Who said nipa na huntimi nje mu fa nche no no ebre bia wo be hia no bia mpo ya na wo ye mu ahyew ada na wo tete wakoma sa wo dia se wo ye hye wakoma mu hu na wo ye mu ahyew se ebri mi wa nipa kro no kro bia wo ye wo sa de no kro mpo ni wura fie o opa wo che wa wo nipa ni so wo ye se de wagye atumu no a wo di ho ya wo no na wa pa otiri mu pese wo be ni bi atu aka no nipa yi wono oni ho hwe enti da bia o wa dwundwum o plane erade hu mobo na o ma wakoma obetimi agye mu amanaka. Revenge, is it worth it? Eyedin minia eyedin se obi a wonim no onanani omanfrani ebetimi abeya oboni because unhia de ba biada. Sabi yourself to Ghana, or big money from all the way from Saudi Arabia. The person that you living with in Ghana, in the same roof, in the same workplace, in the same house, these are the people that might offend you. OJ goes on to say that Judas Iscariot was not away from Jesus, nor a right-hand man, but he was the one who betrayed him. Was it a wood draw at Rema, a cumprecope, but I'm free. A did a numpe, it rots the bone. They did a 3 months, as I said earlier on. For your revenge that you are taking, what you are taking revenge, you will be a shiny wolf. And before I find Chanty, will be a shiny wolf. They say, in my yanka. Nani maye nyankan, are you okay? Are you happy now? Oye ya ni bakroni tia wona so oye ya mayi na difi adwuma mu no. Minia adwuma no wodi ni nyina akọ fi ana. Onko retirement. So akọ retirement. Adwuma no timi de koye. Odofo fa semche wate. Ya de chaupa. Mini OJ. Moses okay. Any Flexy media the chaupa. Said ye shewa kuma mu bia no. Jaiman nka wate. Areto ewo nyame nsem. Live in a free world. Set your heart free from bitterness. Set your heart free from pain and hatred. Let your heart liberate itself by letting go of the pain, of the unforgiveness. Fasem chawati. Medofo fasem che. Na mia na me ya oboni. Mia na me tiawo. Fasem chawati. Uye nyame ba o. Uye nyame ba. Uye nyame ba. Ultimate slow. Try and forgive and forget. See, what's it your ben war and the from war? Your ben war and the from war. The world we live now, I was saying you can have the mindset of life. You should expect anything from anybody. So when you have that mindset now, it will help your heart not to be so affected and hurt to that level. Me too, Ebia. Me dear, me say my downfall. Oh yeah, me downfall. Me pewase me be too abi am poor ebeye. Me dear, I'm convinced I know that you are my friend. But if you are my friend, I don't know. Because you can tell. Ope and I'll wait actually. Because if you say they sit down, yes, I know. Said ye be a missi say at a jenny brew or hono. Said ye a mimi yam, me yaw was our that jenny young man me. In Tissaman, yes, sir. Now me funny some bow. There was also poor in that angle, no anyama mia. Me de way out, me do we out. Now my imagine said, they be a tiao. Therefore, you should love freely. Love freely. Don't free akumemu. Na ebasa. You will not begrudge anybody for not returning a favor. Share. Jesus showed that love to Peter. When Peter denied him 3 times, and Peter did that. But when Peter realized that was mistaken, he went back to Jesus, and Jesus embraced him, and he made him whole again. Therefore, do you know what it does to that person? You free yourself more than the person that you've forgiven, because it opened great doors for you. David extra David did worse things. Or your name of the brain, it's young for Okunipa. It remember Paul Suman said, Uncle Chenny Papa Kuma saw. That's man said, or he saw Suman said. So, but on the neighbor man, Uncle Chenny Pano with dear Makuma Hamra. Where did he get that? Uncle Philistines, woman, they go to church, I know with the end. All that King Saul was looking for said, oh yes, I did David Bekonia Kuno. But now I come to David in Tino, not a pobia. So, Ebo Fanibian, not Sunday. I could ban pay me good sour with them now. I could give and take, and I'll the number now. Akuma, you do me, I do you now. I'm very free, Akuma now. Or for learn to have the heart of forgiveness. Enjoy. Michael Sechi, Owari Jr., OJ. Slope staff one Obaya. Mr. Chumes in your buy and Sunny. Your mission out over here. Now, one share because you're here and we're grow. First check. Michael Owari Sechi Jr. Ninyum na Eboguno. OG. He did the collabo with Moses, okay. Yeah. Video. Akawa ji sachra kakra. Obe won obeye oponi. Obe fumo. And Jesus say, Mr. Ramo, pompa mo adwinjire emra. Bring your questions. For comment, bra. Nien kind. Why didn't you say revenge? Is it worth it? Obiya wadiam na yo ya person ye ni bie. Can you share with us? Na ye hunu say ehun hia ye nyam maninka. Bring your comment. Your comments are welcome. Nipa netimi aba onase wabeko to asle ominia ja chame. But what do you do? Me na why me say me fan child da order for pasem che wati pasem che Edio Metia sese nyadia obi a wo Israel minim ne da betimi abaye me bone eye me yere me namfo no ene betimi atia me naso na say if I don't learn to forgive birthday our arena for so. If you don't learn to let go, now you might say, oh yeah, me what come what Timmy I miss me kanji. Pashem Chawati. If you are now a for an shell, or mom what bread, but and then you shell when you come be a brave. Facha won't want it. Na show mo. Nebe bi ejira kwan ma. Fa asem che wate. Ya. Enya nkwa na ato sa. Ya eti ya ebi ato ye pen. Na su ni nyina achi. Ye di ache, ye to aso. Odofo fa asem che. Mi di chopa. Ye ni nyumye. So bia from wa facheno. Chopper, me chopper. Jemini me, so be a fuma, facheno. Assemche, me, assemche. Chopper, and Saka saying, what a drink before. Therefore, me pesa me no share anema tia obi. Bra ye share amfanchen. Me hear a little research be about revenge. Is it worth it? Me kan extra tea ni ahwe bibi efri mu. He says that se ohwe forms of revenge bia ye can say justify. You share a team like Arsenal and the Chelsea Akushia. Ewo Hinfa Chelsea for stadium cry friend say. Mobekai. Na say me share ball ache. Enyamia. Ana me fan say Chelsea Arsenal. Sorry for the Chelsea and Arsenal fans. I'm just using an extract. And I'm share omu pa until now do say Arsenal so called Chelsea call return match. Or the Emirates Stadium. Until say Arsenal for boabu in this angle say almost so ombeti omu in the football field, no, that is they want also to get a revenge. They also want to also defeat them in their home grounds. This is a play field. It's their career. So this part of revenge is a kind of positive revenge because they are all pursuing a good career. But by being a negative, in the course of their play, no. Chelsea for no, Arsenal for maybe pray. But Arsenal for no, so I should add the above mutrimu posse. Chelsea for Bano, we you be fucking be so near so day. Yes, you prepare. This is not a good revenge. And if it happens that way, that particular match is no longer a football, it's a fight. But say Arsenal prepare say Oba Chelsea bar measure me 20-0 na me pon a clean game. That is a sweet revenge and a justifiable one. And no, I would say they planned it and they did it well. But the awful part of inflicting pain in somebody. Ebu obi name obi lose ni career. Now Arsenal so be prepare say almost be say obi career in Chelsea, no. That kind of revenge that makes the game no longer a game but a fight. And when that thing happens, it destroys the beauty of the game. You know why? Arsenal players might feel they have justified themselves, but the good people who look or who are watching the football match with all enthusiasm will lose the taste, the joy for it. Because why? The soccer game that we watch with delight and pleasure has turned into kickboxing, and it's no longer a funny game. Revenge is not good. You lose all your loved ones. You will lose all those who cherish you, and you will lose a lot of things. The greater thing that you're going to lose the protection and the love of God upon your life, because you decided to take matters into your own hands. Matters of the heart. Akumamu nsema ewomu no, ebufuo ni tanya ewa akumamu no. Odofo say ya hu aduro say ya in 20 years to come, in 10 years to come, wan hwe ya onipa be hia ne ba no etwem. Onipa be hia ne yire ne beda o kete ba akoso asore, and so they will not be talking to each other. Ebiana is happening at the moment in somewhere, in some place, in some homes. But if you don't let go, yenje mo mananka it's going down with the kids. And Kolano Shemu, and you are transforming generation in a negative manner. You are teaching them how to take revenge. You are teaching them how to harbor hatred. Other four, our four, other four, and you are known. Ejumemu four, empo, nyankopon asori fie. Let's learn to let go. Forgive and forget. Michael Owaresechi Jr. Nenyumo boy was a fasem eche. Asante for ewa bebu bi say so the asem cha na umfa day umfa hwe nche. Sa asem na wo de che no wa na eboa. Yesu Kristo mpaya wa kire yen so say on fire yem boni nche se de che won a ofom ye. O hwe nyankopon ho mobrohunu. Wo hwe nyankopon ho abisade. Wo hwe nyankopon ho enisu adi hunu bi. Be unua na ofom no onche onyam je mu mfanche. We mame kai osikani bi a start say oji ni niam afri ni steward sa ode adwuma hye o nsa e wo Bible mu. Na ofre obi asefa ode ebra na ni steward odi kan. Ofre no went to me and Fanny Manama no so Nicotu Fiasi, Papa Cotopa na chow de dafem. Or in energy, Ejemma Nekai, Ujan. Sadi Paya didn't the chair to see a Montiano Sushi will be or the Neca. Obuma no the Nicoche Fiasi say, hey, Massa, I'm for musical mammy, I mean my own marble and think I know the age metia. But they Fiasi. People let on in no eti say, hey, nipa na uja do ko he de wako yobi. Ni e ko friend by. Odofo se wan fa wunia bi boni keto bi a waye anche no a. Na ye wadwin se obeto no so re a. De waye ti awurade ni nye nkrofo bebre no. So bi e to so re a wo hen. Fa sem check. Nobody is an island. Nobody is perfect. In our line working towards perfection, so whether conscious or unconscious, but it is not in our power to decide whether the conscious one forgive or the unconscious one do not forgive, or the vice versa, or the four fasten check. Peter Kobusa Jesus said, so be bonia, me fan chen umprenswa na or sit there be. And prenson ahodo eduoson. Can you be nipa kro no boni a ode aye no eduru sa? If you multiply 70 by 7 is 490. Obi atimi aye oboni am watimi aka to eduru sa in a day. Inyi na echi krampo no say fa yem boni che say the che won for me. Do you know the number of times you've wronged our God? But no asem o kan yinti no, anytime that we sin, he forgives us. Erade hu ye mobo na onsesa koma se de did kan say oma komu emutie emaye. Our series of matters of the heart no, we are healing the heart before we fill the heart with love, joy and peace. Yentimi nkonsuo emegu atechim. Yentimi koto adipa emegu bola so. So eniema bi anye wa akoma mu no, let's get rid of it so that erade nam ne kwampaso e de ne papa abegu akoma mu. Le bema ye nije, e bema ye ho asepeye, ne bema ye nya asomtwie, ye dwumam, ye fie, ye safo, e wo yanka saye kremu. Fasem chewati. Revenge is not worth it. Forget about the person, attitude, and everything that they have inflicted on you. Vengeance is of the Lord. Let the Lord deal with him. Let the Lord deal with her. As David said to Paul, the Lord God should judge between you and me. Have the heart to let go, to forgive and forget. Fasemche, OJ, one more time. Anama, God bless you. It was a very powerful message. God bless you. Now we say minia Kwame Nshiraba abe joining. Bra, senior, Mahala Dado, ya connected me. My own son Francis Akwamkwata no awebi. Kofi Patrick, Amin Shrao. You know Apia Kubi, Makosa, early gentleman. David Kofi Pinefo, hey bra, long time. Yami Shramu na se mo share. Baby say Jay, so I join here on live. Sister Mavis, welcome. Mo share more comments. Share your comments. Share your comments. Share your comments. Asemche, inye, asemche. Idia chance to me remfio. Akawa drink such kakra. Oh, your bear wo. Shannon so. Your bear wo. And I bear your pony. The only dark test sorry. The only in the coba, only in the two steady dear. One on a bear your bonio. Don't expect any other person to offend you. These are the people that step on our toes. Let's forgive them because we once loved them. And we still love them. If you still love them, why do you still keep the pain to destroy the beautiful love you share? Let go. Pass them check. Maybe when we say our phone, wabeko to apa we chow. And so what can say, whoa, we ain't so crap in 7 nunda or the 4 a day. One should be yake you. I give you what train and mine is so jam woman kaya and carbantam. For some check. Yeah, I have an extract from my brother. It says that, but while getting revenge might help you feel validated in the moment, it is untimely. Or in the other words, he says that it is ultimately, it doesn't change your life or circumstances. And in fact, while some of the acts of getting revenge may seem harmless, they can also be dangerous and cause serious damage to someone's life or livelihood. Even if you get temporary relief and happiness from getting some revenge, it might be worth finding other ways to handle your emotions. It is the only way to break constant cycle of bad feeling. The only way to break constant cycle of bad feeling is to let go. The constant cycle of bad feeling. Anybody why any be, but I say no, that's okay. And I say, oh yeah. Okay, bia now mood as a snap. And so why any be? If the vengeance made you satisfied or justified you are, why do you still have that pain recycling? So if you take revenge, you recycle the pain. Rather, you didn't get rid of it. You recycled your pain. So we shouldn't recycle our pain. We shouldn't bring it back. che. Mini fasem che wati. Fasem che. Mini fasem che. Hey, mini senior man Michael Owusu Aponsa, brother. Nyamishra for watching. Fasemche. Forgive and forget. Revenge is not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Even Stephen, at the point of being stoned to death, he pleaded forgiveness for those who are stoning him. And you know what it did? If Stephen had cursed those who were stoning him, we wouldn't have gotten Paul, because it was Paul who instigated those who stoned Stephen. But when he prayed for forgiveness for those who were stoning him, brother, we had a Paul who was a great an apostle, of which was setting an exemplary life for us. All can say, this was one time a man who led the stoning of an apostle. But because the apostle prayed for him, God stretched his mighty hand to touch him, and he also changed lives. Your forgiveness will change generation. Learn to forgive. Last week we looked at the consequences of unforgiveness, and we saw a lot of things that unforgiveness do to us. This week we are saying revenge is not worth it, so let go. Forgive. Yeah, Ebra soon. The time is up with us. Very soon we will go, and the next program on your way tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. in the morning. It might be in the evening in your country, wherever you are. The program is Choir Corner. Come and enjoy some choral music, flavored with some kind of acoustics and other instruments. Choral music, hymnals from the Methodist Church, Presbyterian Church, the Catholic, the Anglican Church, and all sorts of hymns. Come and bless your soul tomorrow, 9 a.m. before you go to church, or when you go to church, when you come, you can come and enjoy it. Choir Corner comes your way, and it will be brought by our own brother, Flexy. That's the name. The name is Flexy. Flexy Media, and being presented by Flexy, the man Flexy. He loves his name, Flexy. Yeah, this has been your brother, your presenter, your everything, your motivator, your encourager, David Chumesi, Ankara, coming all the way from the city that never sleeps, in the heart of America, New York, right from the Bronx. Flexy Media, Flexy TV, and Flexy Radio. Streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Enjoy our live feed as we come your way this and every Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless you for letting your heart go of the pain and stopping the decision to take a revenge. Fasem Eche. God bless you.